Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Steve Ackerman. Steve is a specialist that works in the risk management area, and Steve's company is called Consolidation.
Super Consolidation and Insurance.
Super Consolidation and Insurance. I knew I would get that wrong, but Super Consolidation and Insurance.
Three of the biggest words I could find.
So, Steve, tell me, what does your company do?
Well, as the name says, we consolidate people's supers into one really good one, and then off the back of that, write life insurance.
Okay, and what benefit is that to the person out there, our investors that we normally talk to? What benefit is this service to them?
Well, we find most people have more than one superannuation, and unfortunately everybody tells you to consolidate it into theirs, but is theirs the best one for them? And yes. What we do is we actually work it backwards. We find the best insurance for them and have the premiums paid for by an associated superannuation plan.
Yes.
So if the best insurance is an MLC or an AMP or whoever, we'll then write that life insurance and then attach it to an AMP or an MLC type superannuation plan.
Yep.
Because what we found is it doesn't matter which plan you're in, it's which box you tick that makes the most difference. And unfortunately, most people look at it and go, well, that one must be bad, this one must be good, we'll go in the middle, that's the safest.
So is that with regard to their superannuation investment profile, risk profile or something, is it?
Well, most people don't have a risk profile. They don't understand how it works. And so we go through and give them an education system that tells them what to expect from their superannuation, and then we find it and educate them to do, maybe even take a little bit more than what they might be comfortable with, because most people just don't understand how it works.
Yes.
And with a little bit of education, they're a little bit more comfortable with maybe a higher growth and therefore better return in the long term.
Okay, so from a property investor's point of view, where do you fit into that? Where do you fit into the property investment process? Well,
there's two ways to look at it. When we consolidate the people's supers, they find out how much super they have for a start, and most people don't realise that they might have many thousands of dollars sitting away in funds that they haven't seen for years. So we find that, or assist them finding it, and but I suppose what you're asking is what's in it for them to talk to us.
Yes.
The second part of that answer is most people don't have enough life insurance. Australians are very much underinsured, and when you're coming to investment properties and also just to cover the kids and the wife, they don't have enough covers involved. So what we find is they're just a little bit concerned about the premiums that might be asked. So what we find is a lot of people just don't have enough insurance to cover their personal needs and also their investment property needs. And we're able to find out how much they need, write the business in the right fund, and then have the premiums come out of their super fund. So they're not paying it from their month-to-month budget, which frees up capital to make the investment property pay off quicker, or a little bit more lifestyle.
So do they have to have a self-managed super fund for the premiums to be deducted, or can it be done through without that?
No, we set up an associated account with if it's an AMP, we'll set up an AMP superannuation account. So we consolidate all the supers into that account, and they'll be one each, one for hubby, one for wife in most cases. And then once we've got all the money in the tins, we can look at it and say, well, hello, you've got an investment property over there, you've got enough in the two tins to buy a second investment property, but this one would be under the guise of a self-managed super fund.
Right.
So again, we look at the scenarios for the right property for them, take the money as a deposit out of, or start a super fund, another one, a self-managed fund, take the deposit out and purchase the property. leaving the two funds down here to pay the insurance premiums,
Right.
and also to collect all the SG contributions and any salary sacrifice that we
Right.
would advise them to put in to cover the premiums that are coming out.
Right.
So the net balance doesn't go down because you're taking the premiums out.
Yeah, I think you hit on a very important point there that a lot of property investors actually overlook, and that is the point about ensuring that they have enough life insurance to start with to cover the debt of their borrowings.
Yes.
Do you find that's something that people do or don't do?
I would suggest that 99% of people don't have enough.
Right.
I haven't come across anybody that I've gone, gee, I can't help you. You've got too much.
Yeah, I was just thinking you might be looking at him because I do carry a couple of $1 million in life cover, and that's purely to cover the amount of debt that I have on my property portfolio.
Yeah.
And I realised that a number of years ago, but I agree with you. It's a lot of people don't think about that side of it as to what happens in the unfortunate event that they pass away. What happens to that debt?
Well, it's also not only pass away, but it's the fact that should they lose their income through accident or illness,
Yes.
then there has to be that topping up, or in a lot of cases, a lot of people are negatively geared for tax reasons. Suddenly their income disappears. You don't get the tax benefits.
That's right. It
So you
disappears.
have to have that income protection to be set in place to be able to keep the family unit afloat.
Yes.
So again, what we do is we look at the best income protection for those clients based around what their jobs are, all that sort of stuff that we look at.
Yes.
And find it for them.
Yes. We actually, at Active Invest, advocate that people should look at their property investing as a business. And certainly the major asset of their property investment business is themselves. It's not the properties. It's actually their ability to continue to earn income that's the major asset of their business. And yet people don't consider themselves as that asset and therefore insure themselves.
Well, I mean, your ability to borrow is all based around your assets. So once you lose that ability to borrow, you can't get a loan anymore. So you're stuck with what you have, which
Yes.
I mean, in some cases isn't a bad thing. But to have income protection in place to make sure that should anything occur, that your goals and aspirations of the family unit around your investments and also your personal life come to fruition somewhere down the track.
Yes, I don't want to leave people with the impression that you are just an insurance salesman.
No.
Your business is far more specialised and more in depth than that, isn't it?
Oh, too right. But our core business is life insurance
Yes.
because that's what everybody needs. Off the back of that, we do eke out superannuation investment opportunities, whether it be within self-managed super funds or just getting the people into the right scenario so that their portfolios grow better than what they have been expecting.
And whilst it's a good thing to do this at any time, certainly when somebody takes out a new loan, it's even more critical, isn't it?
Well, it brings to the front of mind that they're in a situation of change, and change brings opportunity to have a wide holistic view on where they are, what they need, and what their aspirations are.
Yes.
And so when we come in, we can sort of, everybody's interested in getting the best benefit for their buck or for their
Yes.
situation.
Yes, well, and again, at Active Invest, one of the things that we do with our clients is not only assist them in getting their property, but when we're getting nearer to the time of settlement, is we go through and just ask the question, have they taken out their building insurance, their landlord insurance, and have they taken out their life cover and their disability cover? And it's amazing how many people have thought of the last two, the building insurance and the landlord insurance, but that first one of life insurance and disability insurance seems to get missed, or it doesn't get thought of.
It's often thought of, but again, they perceive it to be too expensive. And I mean, in most cases, in a lot of cases, it is. I mean, if I were to say to the average person out there that's an investor, it's going to cost you $5,000 a year to get the right covers for you, they pick them off the floor because they'd had a heart attack.
Yes.
But to have it coming out of a super fund when the holistic view of what we're trying to do is to gain more growth in the super fund, hopefully to cover the increase in premiums of their insurance.
Yes. Yes.
So, it doesn't take much to cover a $5,000 premium if you've got $150,000 in superannuation that previously was growing at 3 or 4%, and we can turn it into a 10% return.
Right.
Suddenly you're getting 15 grand instead of 7 into the tin, and so the premium is actually paid for by the growth.
So that's the other part of your business, is that consolidation of the superannuation, and also to talk to people about their growth within that super to free up some more money to be able to cover this insurance and
Exactly.
so on. Yep. Okay. Seems quite simple, and even I can understand that. So as an active investor that is going to be seeing this in the main, you're one of these specialists that we can refer people to help solve this particular problem that they have, and in many cases don't even realise they've got the problem.
Yeah. Well, I think people realise that there's a challenge there, but again, it's not front of mind.
Yes.
If it is, then they're seeing it. I suppose they see it on television whenever they turn the telly on. And there's a lot of advertising on telly for, the instant insurances.
Yes.
The challenge we have with those, even though it does bring it to front of mind, is the fact that they're a different style of insurance to what we do. We do real cover insurance, not the real insurance that's on telly.
Yes.
But we give them proper insurance. We do all the underwriting up front so that they're guaranteed an outcome. They might not like it if they've got some health challenges now, but it guarantees an outcome should anything occur down the track.
Yes, yes.
So,
and I mean, the main thing that stuck in my mind and why I started down this track myself a number of years ago was that I actually did think, what happens if I fall off the perch and my wife is left with all of this property, this debt, a child in a private school and all of this? What happens to them? All of a sudden, all of this great planning that I've done disappears, and that's what brought it home to me. I think that it's quite inconsiderate of people because none of us want to really think about dying, but we all want to think about our property investment portfolio and the good times that can bring to you down the track. But what you've got to consider is what happens in the unlikely event that you don't see the end of that plan.
Well, that's exactly right. And
yes.
That's everything we aim for to cover.
That's great. Well, Steve, thank you very much. Steve Ackerman from Superannuation, Consolidation and Insurance. Thank you very much for spending the time with us today, Steve.
No worries. Thank you very much, mate. Cheers.